Salam dostlar. 5. Turkmence dersime hoş geldiniz. So welcome to my 5th lesson on the Turkmen grammar. In my first video, I covered the personal pronouns in Turkmen, so how to say I, you, he, we, you all, and they. So just to review that, men means I, sen means you, old means he or she, biz means we, siz means you all, or it's the formal version of you, and then olar means they. And so that was my first video. And then also in the first video, we covered how to use the verb to be in the present tense. So for example, how would you say, I am a doctor? You would say, men doktor. Or how would you say, you are a teacher? You would say, sen mugalim. Or how would you say, he is a student? You would say, o okuchi. How would you say, we are shepherds, for example? We would say, biz çoban. To say, you all are businessmen. Siz businessmen. Siz businessmensiniz. How do you say, they are soldiers? Olar asker. Olar serbaz. And so that was my first video. And then on the second video, I covered possessive pronouns and how to form questions. So in terms of how to form questions, I introduced you guys to the main question words in Turkmen. So how do you say what in Turkmen? Nama, what. How do you say who? Kim. How do you say where? Nerede. How do you say when? Hachan. How do you say why? Why did you do that? Namichin onu ettin. How do you say why? Namichin. In the third video, I covered the dative and locative case in the Turkmen language. And so basically what that means is I told you guys how to cover the concepts of to and at in the Turkmen language. And then in the fourth video, I taught you guys the verb conjugations. In other words, I taught you guys how to use verbs in the present tense, the past tense, and in the future tense. So for example, if I wanted to say, I am doing right now, like I'm doing something right now, I would say, men et yan, men edip durum. I did, men ettim. I'm going to do, men et jack. If you want to review how to do that, you can watch the video. Now, in this fifth video, I want to review the whole case system with you guys in Turkmen grammar. Basically, reintroduce you guys to why we have cases in Turkmen, what does a case mean, and then I also want to cover the final two cases, which I haven't covered yet in the Turkmen language, and that's the accusatory case and the instrumental case. So what does it mean to have cases in a language? What is a case? Another way to say case you might have heard is declension or agglutination. You see, the Turkic languages, meaning Turkmen, Turkish, Azerbaijani, Uzbek, Kazakh, etc., these languages are all agglutinative languages. This means that in these languages, there's no concept, there's no word to for the English to, or there's no word for at, there's no word for from, there's no apostrophe s. To convey these meanings, instead of using a word, what they do is they add letters, they add sounds to the ends of their nouns and pronouns. And so that's what it means to have a case system in a language. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 6 cases, and I'm going to, as my nouns, I'm going to use the 6 pronouns in the Turkmen language, men, sen, o, biz, siz, olar, and then I'm going to use 2 example nouns. So the 2 nouns are chai, which means tea, and ish, which means work. So why am I only using 2 nouns? Because all of the nouns in the Turkmen language fall into 2 categories: long vowels and short vowels. So for example, chai is a long vowel noun, whereas ish is a short vowel noun. And so typically the long vowels have endings attached to them with a, whereas the short vowel nouns have endings attached to them with e. And all of the nouns in Turkmen fall into those 2 categories. And as you pick up more vocabulary in the Turkmen language, you'll be able to understand which category each of the nouns falls into. But even if you don't know right now, for example, if you use the long vowel endings instead of the short vowel endings or vice versa, it's okay. It's almost the same sound and people will understand you. Okay? All right, so let's go over the cases one by one. So the first case, which again, I covered this in my first video, is the nominative. This is just naming things, right? So this is just saying I, you, he, she, we, you all, you formal, they, ti, or ish. There's nothing added to the nouns. It's just naming things. So it's very easy. The second case here, this is the dative case. This was covered in my third Turkmen grammar video. This case conveys the concept of 2. So to make this case, you basically add an a or an e to the ends of the nouns or pronouns. So how do you say to me in Turkmen? Manga. Give that to me. One manga ber. So manga means to me. How do you say to you? Sana. Ona, to him or her. Bize, size. Olara, to them. Chaya, to the tea. Chaya, shakargui. Put sugar into the tea. You heard that? So shakar means sugar. Chaya shakargui. Gui means or you can say goy instead. It means to put something in there, right? So chaya shakargui. Put, so to the tea, chaya, and then sugar, and then put, right? Isha, to work. Where are you going? Sen nira baryan. Isha baryan. Okay, so that's how you say to in the Turkmen language, the dative case. Basically, you just add a or e to the ends of the nouns. The locative is the third case we have here. I also covered this case in the third video. The locative case is how you say at in the Turkmen language. So, how do you say or on in the Turkmen language? So, how do you say on me? Mende. The keys are on me. Achar mende. Achar means key, and then mende, on me, at me. How would you say the keys are on you? Achar sende. How do you say he has the keys? The keys are on him. Achar onda. How would you say we have the keys? Achar bizde. How would you say they have the keys? Achar olarda. Çayda, at the tea. I can't think of an example, but it means at the tea or on the tea. İşte, at work. Where is he? So where, nerede, and ol, nerede ol, or ol nerede. Where is he? He is at work. O işte, he is at work. That's the third case. The fourth case, and I covered this case in the second video, is the possessive case. So this is how you indicate ownership or something. In the English language, this is apostrophe S is how you convey this. So, like, let me think. The classroom's books. right? So class, rooms, apostrophe S, books. So that's the possessive case in the English language. In the Turkmen language, you basically add this nasal end to the end of the words. So how do you say mine? Meng. Meng kitabim. My book. How would you say my book? Meng kitabim. And then that's the other thing with this possessive. Not only do you conjugate the pronoun, so meng, menin, but you also conjugate the noun of what you own. So kitab is the word for book, right? But you would say meng kitabim, right? So my book, your book, sen kitabin, his book, on kitabi, bizim, our book, bizim kitabimiz, sizin, sizin kitabiniz, onların kitabı, the T's book, çayın kitabı. I know that sentence doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. The workplaces, okay, the works book, işin kitabı, right? And so I know that that's a little bit confusing because I didn't write the nouns here, but just watch the second video if you want to go over how to form possessives again, okay? So the fourth case we have listed here is the accusatory case. The accusatory case is a way to indicate the English word the. In other words, it's a way to indicate the subject of a sentence. For example, in English, if I asked you, what did you eat? Or if I asked you, what did you drink? And your answer was, I drank the tea. That would be a way of indicating that you drink. That in that sentence, I drank the tea. The subject of the sentence is tea. Okay? But in Turkmen and the Turkic languages, there's no word for the. And so to indicate the concept of the, to indicate the subject of the sentence, you have to add these endings. And the endings are either an I or a Y to the end of the nouns or pronouns. So let's go back to that example sentence I just gave you. What did you drink? I drank the tea. Men çayı içtim. I drank the tea. So adding this Y to the end of the word for tea, chai, makes it the subject of the sentence. Now, what if you didn't add this Y? What if you just said men çay içtim? What would that mean? It would mean I drank tea, but it wouldn't be specific for, like, I drank this specific tea that was in the room. It would just be like, I drank tea, period. So it would be less specific because it wouldn't be a specific subject, right? And so let's do that with the pronouns now. So the example sentence I'll use for this, it's kind of dark, but I think it's a good way of demonstrating the grammar. I'll use the verb to kill. So the verb to kill in the Turkmen language is öldürmek, to kill. And then let's say I will kill, or you will kill, or he or she will kill. To conjugate to kill in the future, it's öldürecek, right? You take off the MEK ending, and then you add JEK. Öldürecek. Men öldürecek. I will kill. Sen öldürecek. You will kill. Okay, so now having reviewed that verb conjugation, and again, you can watch my fourth video to look at the verb conjugations in greater detail. Let's go back to the accusatory case here. So what if I was going to say, he is going to kill me? How do you say that in Turkmen? He, o, meni, me, öldürecek, will kill. Right, so if I wanted to say he is going to kill me, o meni öldürecek, because I would be the subject of that sentence. If I said o men öldürecek, then that sentence wouldn't make sense anymore, right? So you have to add this I to the end to make it make sense. How would you say he is going to kill you? O seni öldürecek. How would you say I'm going to kill him? Men onu öldürecek. How would you say they are going to kill us? They, onlar, bizi, subject, onlar bizi öldürecek. Onlar sizi öldürecek. They will kill you all. Or they will kill you in a formal sense. Like, let's say I was talking to the chief of my tribe, and he wanted to go to war against somebody who was like very powerful, right? And I wanted to warn him. I wanted to say, sir, they're going to kill you. Onlar sizi öldürecek. Because that guy, the chief, who I would be addressing with siz, would be the subject. Okay? We will kill them. Biz, we, onları, them, öldürecek. Will kill. Biz onları öldürecek. Alright, now let's change the verb to something else for tea. What can you do to tea? What do you do with tea? Well, you can make it, right? You can steep it. Men çayı demleyecek. Men, I, çayı, sentence, tea, demleyecek. Will make the tea. Men çayı içecek. I will drink the tea. How about iş? Iş in the Turkmen language, iş has the same meaning as work in the English language. So work can mean like a workplace. You know, I'm going to work, men işe gityen. Or it can mean a task that you have to do. I have work to do. Menin işim var. I have work. Men işim var. I have work to do. And so let's use it in that context where it means a task that you have to do. So what can you do to the work? What do you want to do with your work? You want to finish it, right? So men işi tüketecek. Men işi tamamlayacak. I işi tüketecek. I, the work, will finish. I will finish the work. Okay? All right. So that's the accusatory case where you make things the subject of the sentence. The last case I will go over with you guys is the instrumental case. This is to indicate the word from in English. So, from me, menden. Where did that T come from? The T came from me. How would you say that? Çay, from me. Menden. You see, you added this D-E-N, so it's from me. Came, geldi. Çay menden geldi. Çay ondan geldi. From him. Çay sizden geldi. You guys gave us the tea. The tea came from you. Çay onlardan geldi. Let's say you're really busy and somebody gave you a lot of work and you don't want to do that work. And you ask the question, who did this work come from? İş kimden geldi? Kim means who, right? İş kimden geldi? The work came from him. İş ondan geldi. The work came from Ahmet. İş Ahmet'ten geldi. Okay, so that's how you say from. And this case is often used to indicate like where you're from in the Turkmen language. So for example, if I wanted to say, I am from Turkmenistan, how would you say from Turkmenistan? You add that ending, den, or done, right? So Turkmenistan'dan, right? So men, I, Turkmenistan'dan. I am from Turkmenistan. And remember I said for to be, that's in the present tense. You don't conjugate that. So men Turkmenistan and I am from Turkmenistan. Where is he from? O nereden? Where is he from? O nereden? Let's say he's from America. How do you say that? O Amerika'dan. Okay? All right. Yeah. So with that being said, Thanks a lot for listening. This was my 5th lesson on Turkmen grammar. I think I've covered all of the hard parts of Turkmen grammar now. So if you understand these first 5 videos, then everything else from now on will be easy. You will just have to learn lots of vocabulary, and from there everything will be easy. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Dinlediğiniz için çok sağ olunuz. Görüşürüz. Sağ olunuz.